just give yourself these couple of moments just sinking down into your mat, letting your body feel heavy but feel supported by the ground below you. And as you begin to settle here, just taking a moment as well to notice how the breath is as you arrive here this morning. Noticing if it is fast or slow, shallow or deep, or any other little subtleties that you notice about your breath this morning. Not trying to change it in any way at the moment, just taking note. And we'll return to compare our first breaths with our last breaths at the end of class. So just making a little mental note of how we're breathing this morning. Before we start to move off our mat, we're going to take a few moments to practice a little pranayama practice, a breath work called 3-part breath or yogic breath. So you can leave the hands resting alongside you on the mat, or you might like to gently place them on the belly. And we're going to exhale first to empty the lungs fully, and then inhaling, breathing down into the belly, and exhaling, relaxing the belly back towards the mat. Just like that again, breathing into the belly, feeling the belly rise, exhaling, relaxing the belly back towards the mat. Maybe moving your fingertips onto your ribs now, and breathing into the belly and then up into the ribs. Exhale, relax the ribs, relax the belly. One more like that, breathing into the belly and up into the ribs. Feel the ribs expand now. Exhale, relax the ribs, relax the belly. And lastly, maybe moving the fingertips onto the collarbones or shoulders. And we'll breathe into the belly, into the ribs, and all the way up into the shoulders. Exhale, relax the shoulders, relax the ribs, relax the belly. Last one together, breathing into the belly, the ribs, and all the way up into the shoulders, feeling the full chest and abdomen expand. Exhale, relax the shoulders, relax the ribs, relax the belly. And maybe returning the hands to the mat alongside you now, and just continuing with another couple of rounds of 3-part breath at your own pace. And then slowly bringing awareness back to the body, gently wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, moving the wrists and ankles, turning the head left and right, bringing the feet together at the end of the mat. And with an inhale, maybe drawing the arms up overhead and stretching from fingers all the way down to the toes. Exhaling, relaxing and releasing, allowing the arms to come back down alongside the body. Beginning to draw the knees in towards the chest. We have a little hug, squeeze or gentle roll on the lower back. And when you're ready, rolling over to the right side, taking a little pause there for a moment. gently taking your left hand to the mat in front of your face, extending your left leg and pushing up to come up to find a comfortable seat on your mat. You can use any props if you want to sit up on a blanket or on a block, you're welcome to. And just come to find our easy seat, Sukhasana, for a moment or two. We'll take hands to Anjali Mudra at our heart center, closing down the eyes or having a soft gaze towards your heart space. And this morning we're going to open this morning's practice with the sound of Om. We'll chant Om 3 times. You're welcome to join me, or if you'd like to just listen this morning, that's absolutely fine. If you're joining me, we'll take an inhale. Vibrations to settle for a moment. And then we'll gently bow our head towards our hands, blink open our eyes. Namaste. Namaste. So welcome this morning to our new morning practice on a Wednesday, mindful movement and meditation. So this morning we're going to focus on a series of forward folds as part of our practice. Forward folds are really nice for allowing the body to surrender a little bit. Sometimes we're very rigid, we're very upright in our day-to-day practice, we're very aware and keeping our focus forward, but sometimes it's really nice to allow that surrender, that coming forward, to release the body a little bit, but to also release fear, to release that kind of judgment maybe as well. So that's where we're going with our practice this morning, trying to find that release, that surrender, really. And then our meditation at the end will be focusing around that. So hopefully you'll enjoy the bit of movement and mindful practice this morning. So we're here till about 10:15, so about 45 to 50 minutes of movement and then meditation at the end. Okay, so if you're comfortable, we'll start with the seated warm-up. Just make sure if you need to adjust your seating or anything, take that moment first. And then we'll inhale, take our arms up overhead, stretch through the fingers. Exhale, release your right hand down to the mat and stretch over through the left side of the body. Gently looking up to the sky, if you like, under your arm, and just feel that stretch from the fingertips all the way down to the mat. Breathing into the side of the body. Inhale, we'll take the arms back overhead. And exhale, release your left hand down, stretching into the right side. Just bending as low as feels comfortable. And again, that gaze upwards under our arm. Breathing into the ribs, the space between the ribs and the space between the ribs and the hip. And then take an inhale, coming back up. This time on our exhale, we'll release our right hand behind our right hip, left hand to the right knee and looking over our right shoulder. Relax the shoulders down. Take an inhale to lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, twisting a little deeper. Maybe looking as far as you can with your eyes as well, giving a little stretch all the way into the eye socket. Inhale, we'll come back to center. And exhale, releasing your left hand behind your left hip, right hand to your left knee and looking over your left shoulder. Again, relax the shoulders down. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine, and exhale, twisting a little deeper. Inhale, we'll come back through center, stretching through the fingers for the last time. Exhale, release the hands all the way down. We'll take our fingertips onto our shoulders next and move into some shoulder circles. Just taking them nice and slow in one direction. Nice. And mindfully taking them a little bit bigger as we go. And then when we get to the top the next time, we'll reverse the circle. Thinking about taking the shoulders down away from the ears. Feeling the shoulder blades moving on our back. Squeezing the shoulder blades together and then letting them roll down our back. Okay, when we get to the top the next time, we'll release the hands all the way down. We're going to come around onto tabletop next, so just moving around, take your time to find your tabletop position. So when we come to tabletop, the knees are stacked underneath the hips, the hands are underneath the shoulders. The hands should be wider than the knees because our shoulders are wider than our hips. So just take a little moment to look down and notice that. The hands are nearly as wide as the mat, really, and the knees will be a little bit narrower than that. So think about that nice length in the spine now. Create a nice long line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And we're going to move into a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, lift the chin, lift the tailbone, let the belly fall down. Exhale, round through the spine, rounding into cat. Feel free to close the eyes if that feels nice. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round through the spine. 2 more times. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round into cat. Last one. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round into cat. Coming back to neutral tabletop. We'll just take our hands slightly forward of our shoulders, so maybe about a step forward. And then we're going to round our body weight over our wrists and back towards our heels, making one big circle on your mat. Moving into each of the 4 corners of the mat. And just getting some movement in our wrists, our shoulders, our knees and our hips. Again, taking these nice and slow. As much or as little movement as the body allows at the moment. And when you get to the top the next time, we'll reverse the circle. Maybe tuck the toes under on the mat this time. Just get a bit of movement in the foot and in the toes. Maybe the elbows start to bend a little bit now as we move. Bending to bring our body a little closer to the mat. Or any other little bits of movement that the body is looking for right now as we slowly start to warm it up. And when you get to the top the next time, we'll untuck the toes, take the toes to meet, take the knees nice and wide, and sitting our body weight back into our heels, reaching those fingertips forward, coming into Balasana Child's Pose. Maybe even a gentle sway of the hips to allow the belly to sink down a little further between the thighs. The chest moving towards the floor, the forehead moving towards the floor. Reaching those fingertips forward, get that nice stretch in the upper body. This is the active form of Child's Pose, but if you prefer to take a more gentle version at any time during this morning's class, you're most welcome to. Our last couple of breaths here now. And then we'll slowly start to lift our head, bringing ourselves back through to a tabletop, hands underneath our shoulders, knees under our hips. We'll bring our toes onto the mat, Start to bring our body weight backwards and then lifting our hips, coming up into our first downward dog. Keeping a bend in our knees, pedaling the heels towards the mat, getting a bit of movement in the back of the leg. You might like to pause and bring one heel to the mat at a time, letting a nice stretch happen at the back of the leg from the shin, not the back, the shin, the Achilles tendon all the way to the hamstrings at the back of the leg. I was looking at my shin as I was saying that. Or maybe you like to pedal them with a little bit of more momentum, whichever feels better. And then we'll bring the feet to stillness, start to lift our head, look between our hands, walking our feet towards the top of the mat, and we'll take our feet about mat width distance, coming into ragdoll. So just have a nice generous bend in our legs, letting our body hang down over our legs for a moment or two. The hands can come down to the mat, or you might like to take an elbow in each hand, hanging in stillness or hanging with a little sway left and right. Really noticing on your exhale that you might be able to just let go of the upper body just a fraction more. Feel the weight of the head hanging forward. And then we'll release the hands from the elbows if we have them held. Take the hands to the hips, bend into the knees and come up with a flat back as much as possible, all the way up to standing. Taking your time coming up. Take a moment to recover if you need to. And then we're going to start to find our Tadasana, our mountain pose at the top of our mat. So taking our toes closer together, heels slightly apart. Maybe just giving those toes a little wiggle or a lift, and then gently placing them back on the mat so that we feel that connection across all of our foot, feeling the ground underneath our feet. Activating through the thighs then to gently lift the kneecaps, coming up to our bandhas at our core, gently lifting the Mula Bandha, and to activate and drawing our core muscles in and down so we create that Bandha seal, our energy seal at our core. Rolling through our shoulders, bringing our shoulder blades down our back. Arms and hands are down by our sides. Fingers and hands are energized and active. The chin can be parallel to the floor, or you might like to slightly tuck the chin towards the chest to create that energy seal at the top of the torso as well. Just trying to capture that energy in the body. And the eyes might like to gently close down for a moment or two here, just feeling the energy and steadiness in Tadasana, mountain pose. A moment to come back to your breath in your body. And again, just noticing here if the breath has started to change a little bit now, even since you arrived in the room. And any time you return to Tadasana this morning or Samastiti, you can take that moment just to acknowledge the breath and the changes that you notice. So from here this morning, we're going to start with 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A, the Sun Salutation A. We'll take the first one nice and slow, and I'll do it with this little modification. And then round 2 and 3 we'll take them just a little faster, just to get a bit of heat building. So the eyes are closed, gently blinking them open. With an inhale, we'll take our arms overhead to parallel, continuing to look straight ahead. Exhale, folding forward, hands towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat, stepping the feet back right and left. Lowering down onto the knees, the chest and the chin. Inhale, sweep the chest forward for Cobra. And exhale, pushing back through tabletop and up into downward dog. And we're going to hold this for 5 breaths. So for our first downward dog, we're just taking note of our body positioning, keeping a bend in the knees, trying to have the feet about hip width apart, putting a nice bit of weight and pressure into our fingertips if we can. And feeling that nice length in the upper body from those fingertips all the way to the pelvis. Lifting the head, looking between the hands, walking the feet towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead to parallel, looking straight ahead. Exhale, back to Samastiti. Okay. Round 2. Inhale, taking the arms overhead, prayer or parallel. Exhale, folding forward, hands towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to the mat or to your shins, flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat, stepping your feet back. Lowering down, knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to lift the chest for Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, back to Downward Dog. Again, our 5 breaths here. Keeping the knees bent if that feels more comfortable, if our hamstrings are feeling quite tight. Concentrating on that little tilt in the pelvis to lift the hips nice and high. Feeling that nice length again in the upper body. Really nice. And connecting with our breath. Last breath here. Lifting the head, looking between the hands, walking the feet towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to the mat or to your shins, flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead to prayer or parallel. Exhale, back to Samastiti. Last round of A. Inhale, sweeping the arms overhead, prayer or parallel. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to the mat or to your shins, flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat, stepping or jumping your feet back. Lowering down, Chaturanga Dandasana or knees, chest, chin. Inhale to lift the chest for Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, back to our last Downward Dog or taking a child's pose if we need it. Last 5 breaths here. And as we find those last 5 breaths now, maybe taking the breath down into the belly. Nice deep belly breaths. Starting to lift the head, look between the hands, walking the feet towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to the mat or to your shins, flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms overhead, prayer or parallel. Exhale, back to Samastiti. Taking a moment here, back in that still but active pose of Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, feel free to close the eyes if that feels nice and just notice the breath. Breath might be slightly changing now as we're starting to have more movement in the body, more heat in the body. And now as we start to move into the main portion of the practice, coming back to that thought of surrender as we start to move into those forward folding asana. Just letting the body be, surrendering to anything that is blocking us. So with the eyes closed, you might like to gently blink them open. And we'll step our feet just about hip width apart. If you're not sure how far to go, I like to bring the heels together to make a little L shape, and where your toes are of the back foot, that's about your hip width apart. So just be comfortable where you are. We're going to come to a forward fold first, Padangusthasana. So inhale, take the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching those fingers forward, coming forward with a flat back as much as possible. Maybe a slight bend in the knees if we need. Hands can come down to the shins, the ankles, or maybe they're hooking the big toes. Inhale, halfway lift, flattening the back. Exhale, folding forward a little more.
And all of these forward folds really, excuse me, really engage the front of the body. So the abdominals are really engaged to find that nice flat back. Trying to release our shoulders away from our ears and thinking about our chin towards our feet. Okay. Releasing the hands from the feet or the toes. Take the hands onto the hips, bend into the knees, and we'll come all the way back up.
I seem to have a frog in my throat when I'm upside down. Sorry about that. Take the feet back together. And from here on our next inhale, we're going to step our right foot back to open out to the side of the room. Perfect. So with our right toes facing to the back of the room, we'll take our right foot that way. That's it. Perfect. And then we're going to come to triangle pose, Trikonasana, Uttita Trikonasana. So inhale, take the arms up to shoulder height. Exhale, open through the chest as we hinge forward, taking the hand down to the shin, the ankle, or the toe if we can reach. Reaching that hand upwards. So thinking about the shoulder opening in line with the hip, so trying to bring your shoulder back a little, your hip forward a little. Taking some nice breaths here. Getting nice and strong in the side fold. When you're ready, take an inhale, coming all the way back up. Let the arms come down. We're going to pivot our hips to face the back of the room. Slightly turning that back foot towards the back of the room as well. And then we're coming to pyramid pose, but we're going to take our hands forward towards the mat. Or if you want to, you can pop the blocks underneath the hands if you like for a little bit of extra height. So inhale, open through the shoulders and chest. Exhale, fold forward over that front leg. Hands coming down to square the foot, or as I said, onto the blocks. So we're trying to get our chin towards our foot or our nose towards our knee, depending on our flexibility. This is a little inversion. So our head is in our heart direction, and then lifting that back leg off the mat. So a little bit balance. And slowly bring that foot down as quietly as we can to that. Bring our hand back up, our body back up. We're doing a horse pose a lot here.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I'm used to that.
You know that's perfect. So we'll exhale, bend into our knees, keeping our body nice and tall. Well done. Inhale, raising up. Exhale, bending down. One more time. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, bending. And we're going to hold this one for just 3 breaths this time. So chest nice and open. Lovely, well done. Last breath. And with the inhale, lengthen up once more. Let the arms come back down. We're going to just do one last one here. The hands can be at the waist, the toes can still be out. So we're going to bring our torso parallel to the floor. So we're going to hinge at the hips so our body is nice and flat. So it'll be like this. That's it, perfect. And then just pivoting slightly to your right leg. Yeah. And you can release the hands to the leg if that feels nice, releasing the body a little bit, or you can just stay parallel to the floor. Rights and lefts always confuse me, so don't mind me. Inhale, bring the body back parallel, hands back to the hips. We'll pivot around and come to the left leg. Again, the hands can come down, the body can release if that feels nice. A little stretch on the inside of the back of the leg. Inhale, lift the body parallel, back to the center, and we'll come all the way back up. Okay, so we're just going to do Uttita Trikonasana and our pyramid on our left leg. So inhale, arms to shoulder height. Exhale as we hinge forward and we take our hand down to shin, ankle, orking the big toe. Hand towards the sky, shoulder back, hip forward, and line ourselves up like we're lining up against a wall. Really nice. And then when we're ready, take an inhale, coming back up. Let the arms come back down. We're pivoting pivoting around, squaring our hips to the front edge of the mat, coming to pyramid, this time at the front. So inhale, open through the chest. Exhale, folding forward, hands coming down either side of our front foot. Slight bend in the front knee if we need. Head and chin towards our foot, nose towards our knee. And then we'll bend into that front knee a little bit more, bringing the hands down for more stability and lifting through that back leg just as far as feels comfortable. And then slowly bringing that back foot down to the mat, as slowly and silently as we can. Bringing the hands back up, body back up. Step the feet back together at the top of the mat. Take a moment back in Samastiti. We're going to do a little bit more balance work now. It's nothing too dramatic. But if you want to be by a wall, by all means, if you want that for that extra stability, or if sometimes the mats can feel a little bit more unstable, if you prefer to be off the mat, that's fine as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring our weight into our left leg, and we're going to use our right leg first. So we'll take our right ankle and bring it onto the top of our left thigh. And then slowly hinging our hips. You might like to take hands to heart center if that feels nice. So we're in a standing figure 4. So a bend at the left knee and a bend at the hips, keeping the chest nice and lifted. And then from here we'll start to bring our arms overhead, start to bring that knee towards the chest. That's it, and we're going to bring that foot behind us, coming into a warrior 1. That's it. You can stay on the toe or you can bring the foot down, whichever feels nicer for your body. That's okay. And the arms are reaching upwards, but just be careful not to flare the ribs, so bring that rib towards the hip. And then we're going to sweep those arms behind us, bring the torso slightly forward. One more time, raising the arms up overhead. And we'll sweep the arms back behind us. And inhale, arms back overhead. I'm just turning to face this side as well. And then we'll bring the arms down to the, and hands down to the mat rather. And step our feet back, coming to a downward dog just for a couple of breaths. Try and find that nice deep belly breath again. That length in the top body. This restful pose. And when you're ready, lift your head, look between your hands, step the feet towards the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way overhead, prayer or parallel, and exhale back to Samastiti. Okay, we'll do that little bit of balance on the other side.
Okay.
So weight on our right foot this time, and we're bringing our left ankle onto our right thigh. Hands can stay at the waist or at heart, bending at the left knee, no, right knee is, well, the one we're standing on, and the hips. The left knee is bent obviously, maybe flexing that foot that's on, that's raised. When you're ready, we'll raise the arms overhead, bring the knee towards the chest, and then we'll step back into warrior 1 again on the other side. Toe can stay on the mat, or we can bring the foot down. Remember, just trying not to flare the ribs, so rib towards your hip. And then inhale, sweep the arms behind. And exhale, draw the arms back up. Inhale, arms behind, torso forward. Exhale, back up. Last time. Inhale, arms back. Exhale, arms forward, and then releasing the arms down, arms and hands down, bringing the right foot back to our downward dog for just a couple of breaths. Again, maybe closing the eyes, those nice deep belly breaths.
And from here we're lowering down onto the mat. If you want to take a vinyasa to get there, or if you just want to come down to tabletop, your choice. If you're doing a vinyasa, down on the knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. Inhale to lift the chest, cobra or upward dog. Back to downward dog. And then maybe crossing the ankles to find our seated position. Doing okay? Alright. So let's find Dandasana first, our staff pose. So legs are nice and active, feet are flexed. We're sitting up nice and tall, maybe even roll the shoulders to bring the shoulder blades down our back, lengthening up through the spine. Hands are gently resting beside our hips. And again, you might like to close the eyes here and just notice the breath in the body. Notice the activity in the body, even though we are just sitting still in Dandasana staff pose. So from here we're going to come to our seated forward fold. If you like, you can be sitting on a blanket for a little bit of extra tilt in the pelvis if that helps you. So I recommend just sitting out to the edge of it and letting the pelvis slightly tilt forward to help with that little bit of extra bend. We'll inhale, take the arms overhead. Exhale, hinging forward, taking the hands to the shins, the ankles, or maybe reaching for the toes or the feet. Inhale, halfway lift, flattening the back. Exhale, folding forward. Maybe a slight bend in the knees if we need it. If the hamstrings are still feeling tight. And again, I like that cue of the chin towards the feet to feel that nice flat back. Trying not to round through our shoulders too much. So shoulders down away from the ears. And even taking the hands back a little bit along the legs, if that helps us to not bring the shoulders up to the ears. Inhale, we'll take the arms all the way back overhead. And exhale, release the hands down to the mat. From here, we're going to come to Janu Shirsasana. So you can take the right heel in towards the sit bone and let that right knee open out to the side. Bring your foot in alongside your thigh, squaring our hips then over our left leg. We'll inhale, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward. Hands coming to the shins, the ankle, or around the foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, we'll take the arms back overhead. Exhale, release the hands back down. We'll take the hand under the right knee, bring that knee up through center, and let the knee come out, or the leg come out. And let the legs a little shake. Left side, left knee in towards the chest, and let the left knee open out. Square our body over our right leg this time. And if we do need to pop anything underneath the knee, if that feels better, to pop a blanket or a block, that's always an option as well. Inhale, take the arms overhead. Exhale, hinging forward, hands to the shin, ankle, or around the foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. So I mentioned earlier about the abdominals engaging to find that extra bit of fold. Maybe just thinking about that belly engagement and seeing if there's a little bit more space to bend forward. But as we know, it's not just about the front of the body, the back of the body has to cooperate too, so tight hamstrings, tight glutes and hips can also impede these forward folds. Inhale, we'll take the arms back overhead. Exhale, release the hands back down. We're going to keep the left knee here because we're going to come to Baddha Konasana. So take the right leg back in and open that one out to the side, keeping
or bringing the legs to a nice butterfly shape. You can have that nice wide diamond shape or bring the heels a little closer if you like. And you can bring the soles of the feet together, or if you want a little bit more hip opening, trying to open the soles of the feet a little bit more like pages of a book, and that will give you a little bit more opening. So this might feel enough, but if we want, we can add a forward fold. If we want to add the forward fold, we'll inhale, open through the chest, and exhale, hinge forward. Again, that chin towards the feet. Maybe the elbows press into the knees a little more. And you have that nice long spine. And if it feels nice, we can release the head down and just really surrender over our legs. Inhale, we'll start to bring the body back up into the center. Releasing the hands from the feet, take the hands on the outside of the knees, bring the knees back together. And from here, just making sure you have enough space behind you, we're going to roll down to lie on our back. Perfect. So whenever you're ready, we'll roll all the way down. We'll keep the knees bent. Then we're going to come to 2 rounds of bridge Setu Bandhasana. So the knees are bent and the heels can be in quite close to your glutes. You might even be able to touch the back of the heel with your fingertips, with your arms down alongside your body. So the arms are alongside the body, the palms are facing down to the mat. And before we start to come into our bridge, just lifting our head slightly to lengthen through the back of the neck, chin slightly tucked towards your chest, and just feeling that nice length in the spine. So we're going to be bringing our spine gently off the mat, coming up into our bridge. So whenever you're ready, take an inhale, press your hands into the mat, exhale, tilt the pelvis and start to peel the spine off the mat all the way up to bridge. We're going to hold at the top for a couple of rounds of breath. So just squeezing the inner thighs towards each other, bringing those kneecaps towards the front of the room, engage through the belly, squeeze the glutes and lift the hips a little higher, relax the shoulders. And then inhale, on your exhale we'll start to let the spine come slowly back down, 1 vertebrae at a time. When the pelvis comes down, we'll let the knees windshield wiper left and right. Just release the legs, release the pelvis. So we're going to do that one more time. We might take it a little higher this time. So bringing the legs back to stillness, bringing them back to that bent knee position, nice and comfortable. Arms alongside the body again, fingers reaching down towards the heels and towards the feet, palms facing down. Maybe just checking that the chin is still tucked and the length is still in the back of the neck, shoulders relaxed on your mat. Take an inhale, press into the mat with the hands, exhale, tilt the pelvis and slowly bring the spine off the mat. If you like, you could start to interlace the fingers underneath the lower back, come slightly more onto the arms and onto the shoulders, lift through the chest, lift through the pelvis, still squeezing the knees together and the knee caps towards the front of the room, squeezing the glutes, lifting the hips, keeping that chin tucked towards the chest. Nice deep breaths. If we have the hands held, just releasing the hands and slowly bringing the spine back down onto the mat, 1 vertebrae at a time. You can windshield wiper the knees, or if you want to hug the knees into the chest, whichever feels nicer for your body. And then just to begin to slow things down, we're going to come to either a shoulder stand or Viparati Karani, whichever you prefer to practice. Shoulder stand, have you done before?
Yeah.
Yeah? You happy with it, or would you prefer
With your legs straight.
Yeah, exactly. Or would you prefer Viparati Karani?
What is that?
Viparati Karani is just legs up the wall like that, so you don't have to do anything more than that.
Oh no,
Whereas
shoulder stand.
shoulder stand, you're happy with that one? Perfect. So with these bent then, If you know where you're going, you can start to move into it, taking your knees in towards your chest, knees over your forehead, hands in underneath your lower back, support the lower back and the pelvis, and then stacking the feet over the knees, over the hips, ideally over the shoulders. Point or flex the feet, and we're looking up towards our feet, trying not to turn our head to protect our neck. Maybe even closing the eyes if it feels comfortable, and we're staying here for about 10 breaths. Nice. At the end of your 10 breaths, if you do have plow in your practice, you're welcome to bring the feet above the head. And if not, you can just start to bring the knees in towards the chest and slowly bring the spine back down onto the mat. Five breaths in plow, and then slowly start to release all the way down. Okay, from here we're just going to do a little supine twist, just release the body a little bit more. So we'll take the knees in towards the chest, give a little hug or squeeze or gentle roll on the lower back. And then when you're ready, you can release the legs over to the right side. You might like to have the legs crossed either, if that gives you a deeper stretch with your twist. The right hand might like to rest on top of the legs, the left hand reaching upwards to the sky, and then letting the left arm open out to the left side, trying to bring the left shoulder down to the mat as much as possible. Maybe the gaze is over to the left. Maybe we're closing down the eyes and just letting the body release into this twist. So twists are really good for our bodies to practice in the mornings or in the evenings. They're really good for detoxing and bringing our body into rest and digest. They also just feel really nice, especially after our practice. Just a couple more breaths on this side. And then slowly bringing the head back to center, bringing the knees back towards the chest. You can give a hug or a squeeze, or if you want to do the windshield wiper with the legs either, that can feel nice. And whenever you're ready, you can release the legs over on the left side, either crossing them or just bringing the knees over. And then again, that right arm reaching to the right side, maybe the gaze is to the right. Lovely. Closing down the eyes and just taking a few deep, relaxing breaths here. On each exhale, letting the body just sink a little deeper towards the mat. Bringing our head back to center, our knees back to our chest or feet to the floor, and letting the knees fall side to side, whichever feels better for you. Our last little asana before our shavasana will be a supported bridge. So there's two options. You could use a block or the bolster, which I've just brought beside you in case you prefer that. So bringing the feet back onto the mat, knees bent, and then we'll just lift the hips to slide the block or the bolster in underneath our sacrum, just above our pelvis. Let the body rest down on the block or the bolster. And then if it feels comfortable, we could let the legs extend out long. But if we feel any pressure in our lower back, be sure to just rebend the knees and bring the feet back to the mat. The arms can be alongside you on the mat with the palms facing up, or you might like to take them overhead and bring one hand to rest in the other. Let the elbows relax onto the mat, let the shoulders relax onto the mat. And just enjoying this gentle back bend, letting the body relax and surrender onto the props. This one is one of my favorites to prepare for our closing shavasana, because this little gentle back bend just feels invigorating right now, but also when we come to our place of stillness in shavasana, we'll really notice the change in our body from this asana into lying flat. We'll just take just a few more moments here. Beginning to rebend the legs, bringing the feet onto the mat, letting the arms come back down alongside the body. And when you're ready, lifting the hips and sliding the block out. And then slowly bringing the body down to find our closing shavasana position. So this is our last of our asana. We still have some breath work and meditation to come. Can I get you anything else to feel comfortable?
No, just put this under. Thank you.
No problem. Is that good there?
It is.
Perfect. Blanket over you, or are you okay?
No, it's warm.
Okay. So just take your time now to find your most comfortable position. Closing shavasana is one of the most important asana in my book. It is your time to find that rest and ease. Maybe your last opportunity today before you re-enter the busy world outside in your busy life. So always make the most of a closing shavasana. My closing shavasana will always be in silence. I'm just going to take you through a little bit of a guided relaxation, and then I will leave you in that stillness and silence for a few moments. So let's just start to relax the toes and the feet. Relax the ankles, the shins, the calves. Relax your knees, the front and back of your thigh. Relax the pelvis, the lower back, the belly. Relax the ribs and the chest, the shoulders, maybe even giving the shoulders a little roll to bring the shoulder blades a little further down your back. Relaxing the upper arms, the lower arms. Maybe we turn the palms face up and we just leave them resting on the body. That's absolutely fine too. Relaxing through the neck and up into the head. Relaxing the muscles of our jaw, our tongue, the muscles around the eyes. And finally the forehead, the seat of our mind. And we'll stay here now in stillness and silence, and I'll call you back with the sound of my voice. And slowly bringing our awareness back to our bodies, gently wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, moving the wrists and ankles, turning the head left and right, perhaps bringing the feet together at the end of the mat, and with an inhale drawing the arms up overhead to stretch from fingers to toes. Exhale, relax and release, allow the arms to come back down alongside the body. Begin to draw the knees in towards the chest, give a little hug or squeeze, or a gentle roll on the lower back. And whenever you're ready, you can roll to the right side and take a little pause there for a moment. Whenever you're ready, bringing the left hand to the mat in front of your face, extending the left leg and pushing up to come up to find a comfortable seat. So we'll be sitting here for the next few minutes, so make sure you're comfortable, whichever seat is best for you. So we're going to just do a few rounds of box breath first before we head into our meditation. So make sure you're comfortable, nice long spine, but not being too rigid. Just letting the shoulders relax, letting yourself feel supported and grounded. Closing down the eyes. Hands can be resting on the legs or in the lap, or if you like to take a pan mudra, which is bringing the thumb and the middle finger and ring finger to touch, stretching out your first finger and your baby finger. This is the mudra of unfurling or releasing. So it might be a nice one this morning, or any other mudra that you like. So for our few rounds of box breath, we're going to be taking an inhale for a count of 4, holding the breath for a count of 4, exhaling for 4, and holding that exhale for 4. We'll do 4 rounds, and I'll count you through it all. So when you're ready, exhale to empty the lungs. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Last round. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. And just notice any little changes now that have happened during the class to your breath. We've practiced a few different breathwork practices. We've practiced our asana, our movement of our body. Is there anything we notice now through those movement practices? Anything we notice that has changed in the breath or in the body? And just making that little comparison to our arriving breath and body. Acknowledging the changes, or also acknowledging that nothing has changed if that's the case. That's absolutely fine as well. So remaining here in our comfortable seat. As we move into our meditation for the last few moments of class, let's just think for a moment about that release, that surrender. And before we come to the meditative part, just thinking for a moment, have you met all of yourself yet? Like the unfolding fronds of a fern, unfurl your potential. There is magic lurking in the depths of you that can change the world. Go inwards and be truly present with wherever you are in this process. The most powerful healing comes from a place of presence and acceptance for all that doesn't try to fix, all that doesn't try to fix anything or push things away. Okay. So just being aware of any little areas of resistance in the body. If there's any little bits of tension or muscles trying to hold on to tense feelings, just consciously trying to soften and relax the muscles of the body. And being aware of our natural rhythm of our breath. Witness the effortless flow of our breath. Something that happens just all by itself without our control. Connect particularly into the sensation of the exhale and allowing our body to surrender. And if it feels comfortable, we're going to visualize ourselves this morning in a buoyant, safe raft on a slow moving stream. Imagine yourself trying with all your might to move the raft upstream. This action represents all the ways in which we experience resistance in our life, or that we're moving against the flow. Perhaps you believe that you need to be up there and you work and try with all your might to get there. Meet your edge here in this experience. And then imagine letting go. Just giving up exhausting yourself to be in control, and instead just let the gentle moving stream of life carry you. Imagine lying back in the raft and just being present to the changing views, trusting that the stream will lead you to an ocean of love, peace, harmony, and surrender. Just staying with that energy now for the next few moments, and I'll call you back with the sound of my voice. starting to bring our awareness back into the room, back into our bodies. Maybe just giving a little bit of movement to our fingers, our toes, to notice our body within this space. We can keep the eyes closed if that feels comfortable, and maybe bring the hands to Anjali Mudra at our heart center, pressing our thumbs against our breastbone, which is just in front of our heart space, connecting to our heart, our life force. And we'll close this morning's practice by chanting an Om and 3 Shantis. Shanti, the word for peace, calling for peace for ourselves, peace for the world, and peace for those who cannot ask for it for themselves. So once again, you're welcome to listen, or if you'd like to join me, we'll take an inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Allowing the vibrations to settle. Gently rubbing the palms of the hands together to create heat with the friction. Bringing the warm hands over our closed eyes, taking a breath, gently blinking the eyes open into the warmth and darkness of your hands. Releasing the hands back to heart center as we bow our head to our hands and to the practice of yoga. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Hope that felt good for the
It
body.
felt great.
Okay, good.
Body, mind.